already been an action-packed weekend here in Miami, the second sprint weekend of the new season and the first US Grand Prix weekend of 2025. The rain has been coming down. Maybe we're going to get conditions similar to as we had in the sprint yesterday. And if it measures up to that in terms of action, we are in for a thrill ride.
Lego Wacky Races update. And judging by the looks on some of these drivers' faces, there are a few that have regressed. Some by 10 years, others by 30 or so, but I'm glad they've glued those together. I hope they've glued them together well. Otherwise, there's going to be a fair few thousand Lego bricks on that greasy track.
With Cadillac coming into the sports, of course. 57 laps to go. And it's lights out and away we go. Max Verstappen gets an excellent start from Lando Norris. There goes Kimi Antonelli with Piastri on the inside. Verstappen, just a bit of a look up there, runs wide. Norris is going to keep him keen, fighting through turn 2. Norris goes off the track and loses 3 places as a result. Kimi Antonelli is now putting pressure on Max Verstappen, who has the briefest of leads. Then comes Oscar Piastri. Behind Oscar Piastri, George Russell and Lando Norris. Oh, it was a move he was trying to make. Max Verstappen just locked up. Norris thought he could get a place and then ended up losing 3.
Into a fairly sort of level, wasn't it, in the top 4. Antonelli nice and wide. Max locks up. Then Lando goes up the inside of him. And then Verstappen has another slide, which meant he walked the car off to the right towards Norris. Norris had to take avoiding action. But I think Verstappen was ahead in the apex fight, if you like, in that section, in that chicane.
It's front wheel of Lando Norris to wing mirror of Max Verstappen, and we can't see from that angle whether Lando had the right to the corner and a right to space.
Yeah.
The driving standards guidelines, this might give us more of a clue.
Gives me a better view.
The guidelines say if you are doing the overtaking, you have the right to this corner on the inside. If you are front wheel to wing mirror.
Yeah, that was a shove off the racetrack, wasn't it?
And then barrels into turn 1, and we'll see Liam Lawson, I think, coming into shot in a moment. We'll see the Haas first. Makes big contact there.
Took the tyre straight off the rim. Well, no, it's different, isn't it? Because Max went across the runoff area there. But, oh, there we go, around.
That's the Lawson one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got completely hit, mate. I have no idea what the Alpine was doing.
Verstappen's disappeared off into the distance again. Kimi Antonelli under pressure here from Oscar Piastri. Oscar Piastri has got that overtake done by the time the cars get into turn 11, and the championship leader pushes his McLaren up into second, and Lando Norris making the move on Alex Albon, so he's back up into the top 5. No further investigation. Verstappen and Norris, the stewards, have decided that if it was around the outside, it wasn't front axle to front axle, and therefore Max Verstappen had the corner, not Lando Norris, who's got to get his head down, as he is doing now, and try and win this race from further back. And he's making a very good fist of it, because there's another overtake for Lando Norris, this time on George Russell.
McLaren, because he's having a look up the inside, but he's too far back. It was a bit of a trying to just dupe him, and he's through.
There goes Norris, there goes Lando Norris. Super stuff from him. He's been on the charge. Now we're on the main straight, past the packed grandstands, and now Oscar Piastri is going to have a go into turn 1 here. He's going to have to go round the outside. Verstappen leaves him space to do that, but stays a car length ahead, and Piastri is thwarted once more, making their way to the next heavy braking zone. 1 of 3 on the track. Piastri goes to the outside again. Verstappen places his car in the middle of the track, but Verstappen holds on to the lead of this race. This is brilliant racing from Verstappen and Piastri. Hard, firm, fair racing. Once again, Verstappen darts late-ish, but darts to the inside before Piastri makes his move. Piastri is so much closer, though, as we ride on board on the front wing down the main straight. Piastri is going to have to go round the outside once again. He's just marginally ahead of Max Verstappen. Verstappen's got the inside line, though, and Piastri has to back out, but Verstappen goes deep into the corner and concedes the lead of this race. Verstappen's looking there to the left to see where Oscar Piastri is. Piastri, puts his car in the right position, forces Max to brake too late, and then picks up the pieces. As Verstappen goes deep once again into that hairpin, and now will try and fend off Lando Norris in the McLaren towards turn one. Here we come, wheel to wheel once again. Round the outside goes Lando Norris. Max Verstappen holds him off this time. Norris just about stays on the track and loses time coming back onto it again. Here goes Lando Norris on Max Verstappen into turn one on lap 15, and that was the result of it.
Lando kept his car in play, stayed on the racetrack, but ran out of space through the next apex.
He needs to do more of this though, Martin, to put Max Verstappen under pressure. They're trying to help him on the pit wall, but he's just not finding the room, and or is he? And both drivers off the track, it seemed there, although Lando might have stayed just on the white line. He has squeezed ahead of Max Verstappen and up into second place as Verstappen locks up, almost goes into the back of the McLaren in his attempts to try and get past again.
Because when he did this move before, yeah, this is the one we were looking at, all four wheels off the track, so he had to give it back.
He went off himself, while driving me off the track, so I need the position back.
And this is how he got that position back. McLaren telling Lando Norris, yeah, you better.
Yeah, you could see Lando looking in his mirror. Checked out, hasn't he, out front, while this pair is squabbling. He's absolutely checked out. And Norris coming at him again then, down into the T11. This time, he's under control.
A lot cleaner for Lando Norris, a lot more succinct, and second place is his. Didn't look good. That's Ollie Behrman, who's gone off the track as well. He's been overtaken by Carlos Sainz, and then off the track for Ollie Behrman. Russell will pick up a couple of places here. George should jump Max Verstappen.
BSC ending. Will he get out? And again, that didn't seem especially fast.
But it was still a bit wobbly going on, Russell's car. So Russell lost a couple of seconds there. Lando almost hit a Ferrari mechanic who was coming out for Charles Leclerc's stop. It's all going off down here, Crofty.
And it's all going off on track as well, because we've gone green again, and George Russell has jumped Max Verstappen during the pit stop.
This then, Antonelli under a lot of pressure from Alex Albon down the pit straight. Albon with the DRS ring wide open. Antonelli brakes late. Has he stayed on the track? Not enough. Through he goes.
And here comes Carlos Sainz making a move on Charles Leclerc. One corner, two Williams, two overtakes.
And haven't they? They just haven't had the points they deserve so far.
They absolutely are a neat little package in the midfield, the Williams, for this year as we wheel to wheel, Williams and Ferrari into turn 17 we go. Round the outside, marginally ahead is Charles Leclerc, but the inside line for Alex Albon serves him well, and he streaks clear, but only by a car length. And this time Leclerc will have the inside line going into turn one. Hamilton's having a watching brief on this one, as through goes Hamilton, and just behind his teammate Charles Leclerc. And terrific scraps going on in this Miami Grand Prix today. Charles Leclerc is ahead, but he's got a tighter line.
This is brave, great bravery from Leclerc. Hanging on there, look, they're doing 150 plus miles an hour, building up down the finish straight, and still, and now he's gone in deep, and that's where he just fenced off Albon, but managed to stay ahead of Hamilton.
Yeah, and you can see how far back Hamilton was here, but he kind of knew what was coming, that the gap would open up, and it did. Got one Williams and sets off behind his teammate. Oh, fabulous stuff.
I'm just burning up my tyres behind him.
Want to keep the DRS to Charles and go ahead like this. It's behind 1.5.
You guys, this is not good teamwork, that's all I'm going to say. In China, I got out of the way when you're on a different strategy.
Understood. We swapped the cars.
Have a tea break while you're at it. Come on.
Could keep, here we are, they finally have swapped it. Leclerc being told to swap the positions, that has taken 3 laps longer.
We're coming back on Antonelli.
We are, but quite slowly. How much faster could you go in free air?
I have no idea. I have no overheating.
Hamilton's been told to swap the positions and give Charles Leclerc a chance at getting at Kimi Antonelli.
We are seeing Antonelli. Let's try to get him, and then otherwise we are going to lose more time than anything. Then we discuss after the race.
There you go. Positions swapped down at turn 11. Anthony, clear up the confusion.
So basically, they told Charles before they asked Lewis.
Right.
That's the confusion.
And Sainz 1.4 behind.
Going to let pass as well.
it is McLaren in Miami, Papaya and Piastri on top as Oscar Piastri wins the Miami Grand Prix, and the championship leader does it in style. Lando Norris from the front row lost out at the start and fought his way back valiantly to claim that second place. And this is Lewis Hamilton under pressure from Carlos Sainz, and just hanging on to take that 8th place. Antonelli 6th, Leclerc 7th, Hamilton 8th, as Sainz makes a late lunge down the inside to try and claim 8th place. This is Carlos Sainz, late lunge on Lewis Hamilton. That could have taken both of them out of this race. A banging of wheels going on there, and that is going to be investigated after the race by the stewards. He was gaining, wasn't he, Carlos Sainz? Thought the gap was there.
Yeah. He moved a bit on the brake in there.
Over in Australia, they're just waking up in Sydney. It's 8 a.m. in Sydney and in Melbourne, and the local boys done it again. What a start to the week for those in Australia. What an end to the weekend for Oscar Piastri on top here in Miami.